Norfolk and Nottinghamshire classes, welcome to your Destination Reader lesson for today. We are reading Vajak-Pur by S.F. Syed, and this is our fourth lesson of 25 lessons. Okay, let's see if you've got everything ready for the lesson today. You should have a copy of the story, a strategy prompts sheet, and a pencil or pen and a piece of paper or your home learning book. If you don't have those things, press pause and go and collect them together. Press pause now. Okay, great. You're back and ready for the lesson. Okay, just like the rest of our Destination Reader lessons, any keywords, any important words that I want you to know about will be written in red. Any questions for you that I want you to answer are going to be in blue, and you're going to have some writing time. This will be in green. We've also got the two symbols there. When you see those symbols, I want you to say your answer out loud, and then I want you to make a note of it or write it down. Vajak-Pur by S.F. Syed. This cat must learn to fight. Okay, so we're going to continue with strategy number 2 today, which is asking questions. My turn asking questions, your turn. My turn asking questions, your turn. And here's my question for you. Why do good readers ask questions? I want you to have a little think, say your answer out loud, then make a note of it on your home learning book or piece of paper. Why do good readers ask questions? Press pause now. Great, okay, and let's have a look and see. I've said that good readers ask questions as they read because it helps them to understand what is happening in the story. Asking questions also keeps the reader interested and want to read more. And when you're asking questions, they're the little questions that just pop into your mind as you read. Okay, really important though. We don't always know the answer to our questions when we are asking questions in Destination Reader, so this is a little strange. But sometimes when we keep reading, our questions get answered. Okay, say, hi, Queenie. Great, so Queenie is a questioner. She's always thinking about questions when she's reading. She's a really good reader. Okay, I want you to ask some questions out loud. Just the question word at the beginning of your question. I want you to think of 6 question words. Okay, are you ready? Off you go. Out loud, 6 question words. Go. Great. Did you think of some question words? Let's have a look at what question words Queenie is thinking. She's thinking, I wonder. Your turn. She's thinking, why? Your turn. She's thinking, how? Your turn. She's thinking, what if? Your turn. She's thinking, I think that. Your turn. She's thinking, how do I know? Your turn. Great, so those are some question words that you could have at the start of your questions. So good readers like Queenie, they ask questions before, during, and after the reading so that they can better understand the author and the meaning of the text. Okay, so our vocabulary. My turn, hubbub, your turn. My turn, hubbub, your turn. Hubbub, that's a really funny word to say, isn't it, with all those B's in it? Well, a hubbub is a loud mixture of sounds or voices. So sometimes when we're in the classroom and we're getting a bit excited and maybe we're changing from one thing to another thing and it's all a bit exciting in the classroom, there'll be a hubbub, a loud mixture of sounds or voices. Hubbub. My turn, impressionable, your turn. My turn, impressionable, your turn. Impressionable, that's got a lot of syllables. Let's count them out together. Impressionable. Impressionable. Is that 5 syllables? Let's try together. Let's try together again. Impressionable. That is a 5-syllable word. That is a lot of syllables for a word. And if someone is impressionable, they're easily influenced, they're easily led. People can tell them what to do and they'll do it really easily because they're just easily following other people. They are very impressionable. My turn, pleaded, your turn. My turn, pleaded, your turn. Pleaded. This is another past tense word. We know that because it's got the ed at the end of it. The present tense would be to plead or pleading. And if you have pleaded, you've already done it. It's a past tense word. And if you plead, or if somebody has pleaded with you, they've asked you in a serious and emotional way, they're begging for help, they're pleading, they have pleaded. Okay, so let's get our books out. We're going to begin reading chapter 3, which in my book is on page 24. So get your books open. And we've got a picture there, and we can see one of the cats sitting on a chair and the rest of the cats, and somebody's still playing with that toy mouse. I'm thinking that the cat on the chair is Alder Paw because I can remember from the last chapter that Alder Paw had called a family council. I wanted to know what a family council was. Okay, I'm going to begin reading. Family Council is now in session, declared the Alder Paw above the hubbub in the front room. Mother, father, and Aunt Junie were whispering to one another, huddled together on a rug so old it had lost its pattern and faded away. Julius and Jasmine were sitting behind them, nodding seriously, as if they were grown-ups too. Jay, Jethro, and Jerome were fighting over the toy mouse, trying to push each other into the flames of the antique fireplace. Okay, we're going to stop there because I've got some questions. I'm thinking to myself, well, I wonder what will happen in the family council. And I'm also thinking, well, how do we know that Varjak's brothers aren't interested in what the Alder Paw is going to say? Okay, let's keep reading. As at the Alder Paw's words, they all settled down. Varjak was sitting quietly on his own at the back, but his mind was burning. This was his first family council. From the Contessa's red velvet armchair where he stood, the Alder Paw began to speak. The family tales tell us that when our ancestor Jalal came out of Mesopotamia, he wandered the earth for many years before finding a home with the Contessa. Generations of Paws have lived in this house since Jalal's time, but those days may be coming to an end. I believe the Contessa is dead. The older cats gasped. They shot strange looks at one another and shook their heads. A log crackled loudly in the fireplace. The Alder Paw waited until it was quiet again to continue. She has seldom left her room of late, only to feed us and tend to the fire. Our youngest litter, Varjak, Jay, Jethro, and Jerome, have hardly seen her. They barely even know what she looks like. She would only let that happen if she was ill, very ill. And now this gentleman, What we saw today confirms my fears. The Contessa is gone. We're going to stop there. And I'm thinking to myself, well, who is Jalal? We're hearing about Jalal's tales and he's an ancestor, but I want to know a bit more about him. Who is he? And I'm thinking to myself, why do you think the elder poor believes the Contessa is dead? Nobody else seems to think she's dead. I bet you've got some questions that have popped into your mind too. When we continue, we're going to ask those questions and write them down. Okay, let's keep reading. Yes, she's probably gone somewhere, said Father. I'm sure she'll be back. And in the meantime, her gentleman friend is looking after us. He is not her friend, said the elder poor. I remember him. He came to this house years ago, before any of you were born. He and the Contessa had a terrible argument. He wanted to take us away, but she wouldn't let him. She threw him out in the end, shouting and screaming. It was silent for a moment. Vajek saw Father's eyes glint green in the dark. There was no light in the room, but the crackling, flickering fire. And we're going to stop there because we've got lots of questions popping into our minds. Well, I've got a couple of questions. I want to know, what was a Contessa and the man's argument about? And I also want to know, where did the man want to take the cats to? Where was he going to take them? What questions do you have? I want you to have a little think, then say your questions out loud, then write them down on your piece of paper or in your home learning book. I want you to think of 2 questions. What questions do you have? Press pause now. Okay, fantastic. And I wish I could hear your questions. I bet you've got some amazing questions. Okay, so we're down at the top of page 27, and we're going to keep reading. Keep thinking of those questions as we read. This is absurd, said Aunt Junie. She licked her plump paws confidently. We're purebred Mesopotamian blues, the noblest of cats. Nothing bad can happen to us. It's silly to alarm the kittens like this, tattered Mother. They are too young and impressionable to understand anything so serious. They'll go and have nightmares now. You see if they don't. That's right. Father arched his back and stood up. I don't understand the problem. The gentleman is feeding us better than the Contessa ever did. But why is he being so nice to us? Said the elder poor. Fancy food, presents. It's too good to be true. And what about those black cats who gave Vajek a scare? We all know about Vajek and his tales, declared Father. No, I see nothing to worry about. I don't believe in those cats. I don't believe the Contessa is dead, and I don't believe this is the same gentleman the elder poor remembers. He must be getting confused in his old age. There was a murmur of agreement around the room. Vajek couldn't stop himself. He had to speak. I saw the man carrying something away, he said. It could have been the Contessa's body. Vajek, hissed Mother. That really is too revolting. She turned to the elder poor. You see what you've done? But it's true, said Vajek, and so are the cats there. Shut up, you stupid insect, snarled Julius. We're the only cats in the Contessa's house, and this is grown-up business, not kitten make-believe. Everyone started to shout at once. The flames roared louder and higher in the fireplace. Listen to me, demanded the elder poor, struggling to regain control. We need to make a plan. If things change in this house, we will have to go outside. Elder poor, cried Mother, what can you be thinking of? Everyone knows the world outside is full of monsters. At least here we're safe from dogs. But we don't even know what dogs are, said the elder poor. This house is the only world we know. This house is the only world we need, said Junie. The Contessa is fine. Everything will go on as before. Listen to me, pleaded the elder poor. He stepped down off the armchair and into the middle of the room. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions. I'm thinking back to the start of that reading, and I wonder why the man is being so nice to the cats. And I'm thinking, why do you think the elder poor is pleading with the other cats? He wants them to listen. Why is he so desperate for them to listen to him? Okay, you're going to ask them questions. You can use your strategy prompt sheet question words to help you, or some of the question words that I've used that are written in red on this page. I want you to think of 2 questions. Say questions out loud, then make a note of them in your home learning book or your piece of paper. What questions do you have? Press pause now. Okay, great, you're back. And we've got a picture on page 29 there of 2 of the cats. I'm thinking that's elder poor and father cat, but I'm not quite sure. But let's turn over onto page 30 and finish the chapter. Father squared up to him. No, you listen to me for a change. His fur bristled. Maybe it's time for someone else to make the decisions in this family. The room was completely still now, except for the raging fire. Shocked at what he was seeing, but unable to look away, Varjak watched the 2 of them intently. Everyone did. Father began to circle the elder poor, wordless and menacing. He bared his teeth. He looked twice as big, twice as fierce as normal. His shadow danced across the elder poor's body in the firelight. He hissed and strode forward. The elder poor backed away. Suddenly he looked tired and old, very old, like the threadbare rug on which he stood. I'm just saying we should think. That's enough, blazed Father. This council is over. He turned to face the family. Let's go. There was a rumble of support around the room. Varjak's throat felt dry. He couldn't believe how fast it had happened. One moment the elder poor was in charge. The next, it was all over. Purebred Mesopotamian blues, croaked the elder poor. The family of Jalal. Is this what we've sunk to? The council, spat Father, is over. Okay, so we've ended that chapter and we've still got lots of questions that we're thinking about. And I'm thinking, why do you think Father squared up to elder poor? And I'm thinking, well, how do you think elder poor felt when Father spoke up to him? Those are some of the questions I have. I want you to think of your questions. Try and use a variety of question words at the beginning. I want you to say your questions out loud, then make a note of them in your home learning book or on your piece of paper. I want you to think of 2 questions. What questions do you have? Press pause now. Okay, there we go. So we have come to the end of today's lesson, and tomorrow we are going to continue reading Varjak Poor, and we're going to carry on asking our questions. If you've got some more questions, you could make a note of them now. And also, you could have a look back at some of your questions that you wrote during this week. Have any of those questions been answered? That would be an interesting thing to have a look at and do. Okay, well done for joining in today's lesson. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch up with you again soon.